Breaking out of the cycle. As we've seen, we can use a mental health map to see which factors a person is currently dealing with and how they relate to each other. Thus, it can help us to understand how mental health problems can arise. The question now becomes, how can we tackle these mental problems and improve our state of mental well-being? Let's have a look at the following simple scenario. Imagine you have a crying baby at home that keeps you awake at night. This causes you to become stressed. You don't know how to deal with this and let everything out on your partner, which puts a toll on your marriage. So, what could be done to improve the situation? Let's assume that you can't really stop the baby from crying. You've already tried everything. It just seems to be a phase. What alternatives are there? You could, for instance, tackle the marital problems by going to a marriage counselor. But this would only selectively tackle the marriage problems. It wouldn't change anything about the fact that you're feeling stressed out. Another option would be to reduce the stress directly. You could do this by practicing more mindfulness, by, for instance, following a small meditation tutorial on YouTube. By reducing stress, you would then also reduce your marital problems indirectly, as they are connected. However, this strategy would not resolve the marital problems, but only reduce them. At best, we would like to get rid of the link between stress and marital problems and resolve these issues once and for all. However, even though you've already reduced your stress through mindfulness, you still feel the need to vent. One thing you could do is to try to find another form of stress release, such as running. Now, every time you feel the stress getting to your head, you go out for a little run instead of letting the tension build up and explode at the dinner table. We see that only tackling the factor stress by finding healthy ways to reduce and deal with it can have an effect on the remaining factors. This is because factors in a network that are connected are dependent on each other. The proposed changes are only some examples of how we could improve this mental health map. Where and how should be intervened depends highly on the individual and their specific mental health map. This may involve a combination of different types of interventions, such as medication, therapy, lifestyle changes, and social support. But how can we find promising treatment targets? In general, promising treatment targets are those factors and connections that are part of vicious cycles. Let's again have a look at Linda's map. As a small reminder, Linda struggled to focus, which caused her to postpone her studies. This, in turn, caused her to feel stressed as well as ashamed. Because Linda felt ashamed, she started hurting herself, which only made her feel more ashamed, ultimately further increasing her concentration problems. Thus, we can see that there are two vicious cycles in Linda's map. Now, what would be a promising treatment strategy for Linda? Targeting the factor stress, in this case, would not be too effective, as there are no connections going out from this factor. Hence, reducing stress would not lead to an improvement in the rest of Linda's map. What seems to make more sense here is to target her feelings of shame, as they contribute to both vicious cycles that we've identified before. What may help Linda to tackle her shame could be to simply slow down a little bit, to understand that it's okay to feel overwhelmed, to need a break, and if so, to allow herself to take it. She could also find a different, more healthy way to deal with feelings of shame. She could, for instance, start to journal to better understand her feelings. Using mental health maps to identify the factors and connections that play an important role in each individual can be very helpful to understand how mental problems may arise, why we feel stuck sometimes, and if we do, how to get better. Breaking out of a downward spiral of mental distress can be difficult, but it's important to remember that it's possible with help and support. Seeking therapy, talking to a trusted friend or family member, or engaging in self-care activities can all be helpful to break out of the vicious cycles in your life. Let's finish with the take-home messages. Because factors are connected, we don't need to tackle them all at once. Sometimes it suffices to find the right spots in your map. This will indirectly improve the rest of the map as well.